What is going on YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back for some more live Pokemon Showdown. Today we're hopping on the OU Suspect ladder where they're going to be retesting Aegislash, and this started quite a few days ago. By the time this video goes up, it's probably like a week old or so. But yeah, they're retesting Aegislash, and I didn't even use it that much when it was legal, so now that it is being retested, I wanted to jump on the chance to use it, even though I have been playing a lot of OU lately. And so yeah, we're just gonna go for it. I really don't think it's going to make it through the testing. I think too many people are going to be voting against it, and if I do end up getting Rex myself, I will be voting against it re-entering the tier as well, because I think it's just not what the tier needs right now. It's not balanced at all, and there's a lot of other issues that I'm not going to go into because this will end up being a like 14 or 15 minute intro, and we don't want that. So this is going to be a 3-part session. I'll make each part around a half an hour or so, and we'll go from there. So this particular Aegislash, I'm running King Shield, Shadow Ball, Flash Cannon, and Shadow Sneak with a quiet nature, 0 speed IVs, so that we can potentially outslow other Aegislash and take a Shadow Ball in shield form before retaliating. I threw the extra 8 EVs into attack for Shadow Sneak, and Flash Cannon basically is only there just for things like Clefable and Sylveon, which otherwise kind of give this team a little bit of a hard time. So that's that. Moving on, we have Mandy the Mandibuzz here. I actually wanted to go specially defensive because of just the fact that Aegislash is running around in this meta now. You need something that can handle it. Mandibuzz with the foul play does not care about the attack drops from King Shield. And yeah, I mean, we can hit it super effectively with foul play, and you know, you can also taunt it, which does go through the King Shield, so it forces it to attack you. And since we're specially defensive, things like Flash Cannon don't really do much to us, and our physical defense is good as it is. So that's that. 248, of course, to give us a odd HP number, and the rest I threw into special defense, and that's pretty much that. So moving on. We also have physically defensive Clefable with a bold nature, and I threw the 8 extra EVs into special attack just for Moonblast and Fire Blast. Fire Blast is there for things like Ferrothorn. Even though I do have a Charizard, it's still nice because Ferrothorn is a prime switch into this Clefable. I also needed a Stealth Rocker, so I threw that on there, and then we have the Soft Boiled for recovery. And that's pretty much that. It's pretty straightforward. I also gave it 0 attack IVs to minimize foul play damage because I'm expecting there to be a lot of Mandibuzz running around just because of Aegislash. That and Bisharp, because Bisharp with Defiant doesn't care about King Shield, not boosts, but attack decreases either. So that is that. Moving on, we have Jawsy here, the Sharpedo. I decided to go a regular Sharpedo with a Life Orb, a Modest Nature, and yeah, it's going to be Special Sharpedo. So we have the Speed Boost going on. I wanted to throw Protect on there, of course, and that pretty much takes the place of a Scarfer on the team. And then we have Dark Pulse and Hydro Pump for our stab moves, which actually hit very, very hard thanks to our Life Orb. And, I mean, we have 95 special attack anyway, so it's not like Sharpedo is hurting for power. And then we have the Destiny Bond, which honestly is going to be probably the most common use for Sharpedo, is to just get rid of things with Destiny Bond. So any big, huge threat, Sharpedo can usually handle it unless it has priority like Mach Punch or something. This Sharpedo does not take hits very well at all. But yeah, it's not really what it's used for. So moving on, then we have Flare, the Charizard. It's going to be Mega Charizard X. And it's a very standard set, just an Adamant Dragon Dance set, max speed, max attack. The only thing that could be up for debate other than Flare Blitz and Dragon Claw, I mean, I guess I could throw Outrage on there, but I don't really like being locked into Outrage. Dragon Claw actually is pretty darn powerful because it gets the Tough Claws boost anyway. And I could throw Earthquake on in that last slot as well over Roost, because things like Heatran could be a problem. And that gives me a way to hit Aegislash without having to rely on Flare Blitz, because otherwise, you know, you have the mind games with King Shield. But Roost really does come in handy, and it eases Charizard's ability to set up, especially if we have to deal with Stealth Rock being on the field. I do have Defog on Mandibuzz, though, even though I didn't mention it. And then last but not least, we have Choice Band Diggersby. Dirta is here. She's got Quick Attack, Earthquake, Return, and U-Turn. So Earthquake and Return are for stabs, obviously. Quick Attack, Quack? What am I talking about? Quick Attack I swear I cannot pronounce words sometimes. Quick Attack is there because the team needed some priority other than just Shadow Sneak, because for the most part the team's kind of slow, because even Charizard gets outsped by a lot of things before a Dragon Dance boost, so that Quick Attack really is going to come in handy, I'm assuming. And then Earthquake in return, just kill everything. U-turn is for momentum. And that's pretty much that. So I'm not going to go into too much more detail because we're already over 5 minutes into the video. So let's just find a battle and we'll go from there. So this is a pretty standard looking team, pretty threatening team. I see the Starmie with the rapid spin support for Talonflame. Starmie can never spin on Aegislash, so as long as that's alive, I can set up all the hazards that I want. Although I don't have spikes, so it's really just Stealth Rock. I'm going to lead with Mandibuzz, though, predicting Ferrothorn, and that is exactly what he leads off with. Breloom would have been fine, too. That's a pretty common lead with Focus Sash. But he's probably going to try to set up hazards or Leech Seed here, and I don't want that, so I'm just going to taunt it. There's really no reason for me to do anything else, and I can start to weaken him with Foul Play. He really has nothing that he wants to switch in on a Foul Play. Starmie doesn't like taking it just because it's weak to it. Same with Gengar. The sash on that Breloom would be broken, and it would still take a decent amount, even though it resists that. Even defensive Garchomp takes a solid chunk from Foul Play, and so does Talonflame. So this Mandibuzz is actually a big problem for his team. Now that I'm looking at it a little bit more closely, I'm going to turn the timer on because he's taking a while. And it turns out he does try to go for the Stealth Rock, so that's great. And now I just click Foul Play. Even if he does have the Rocky Helmet, I'm going to be taking that extra damage, but the most he can do to me is Power Rip, which is not going to be doing too much, because that's a resisted hit, and he does have the Rocky Helmet. Or Gyro Ball, which does a little bit more, just because Mandibuzz is actually still kind of fast. And I am going to Roost here, because I can just whittle this thing down. He pretty much has to switch, because he's just going to have to go for Gyro Ball, and Gyro Ball, and Gyro Ball, and Gyro Ball, and he's going to run out of them eventually, because I've got double the amount of Roost that he does Gyro Balls. Actually, he's just going to forfeit. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, my friend. I guess we will look for another battle. I am at the bottom of the ladder. I'm at 1127. Because the suspect's been going on for a while, I think the top of the ladder right now is at about 1600 or so, 15 to 1600. So it's not a really, really small ladder, meaning that we will run into some shenanigans at the bottom. But that's part of the fun of it, I guess. I don't know, that makes OU a little bit more interesting because it's kind of a stale meta, to be honest. But after playing RU for a while, I have to say that OU is more fun at the moment than RU is, which is really saying something. Which is really, really saying something for me, at least. But let's see here. He's got the potential to Rapid Spin and Defog on this team, so he just does not like hazards, I guess. But his team doesn't really care about them. He has nothing weak to Stealth Rock. And then he's got the Magic Guard and the Clefable too, so that doesn't care about hazards. He's actually going to lead off with the Excadrill. I can very easily bluff a Scarf here because it's pretty common. So he is actually going to switch right out into the Latios. I probably should have clicked Return because there was no way he was going into Aegislash there. But actually I probably should have clicked U-turn, to be honest. That's probably my best play. So he is going to show off the Ice Beam actually as I pull switch into Aegislash because that's a very, very safe switch for me. I can just go for Flash Cannon now because I want to say that he is probably going to predict a Shadow Ball and go right into the Lopunny, which he does, so we get a free 67% off on that, which is lovely. This thing really isn't too much of a problem anyway because it usually only carries attacking moves, so I can just King Shield on it. And we'll see what he does. If he's sub Encore, that could be an issue, but he does just go for the Drain Punch, obviously predicting a switch there. Or actually, no, not necessarily, because he is Scrappy. So that is a thing. But either way, we got all that damage off, and he's at -2. Now he shows the Encore, so he's not sub, but he has Drain Punch, and he doesn't have High Jump Kick. That's kind of interesting. I could go into Clefable here. I don't know if... He's not going to go for Return, I don't think. Because I resist that. He has to go for a fighting type move if he's going to try to attack me. Actually, he's going to switch out into his own Clefable. So we have some Clefable on Clefable action going on here. I am just going to set up Stealth Rock. At least force him. Wow, that did a lot. That did so much damage. Why did that do 45%? I know I'm physically defensive, but geez, that did a lot. I was not expecting that for some reason. I wonder if he's Life Orb. Life Orb Magic Guard Clefable is pretty cool. So kudos to you if you're running that. I'm gonna need to just get my HP up, basically. So I'm going to kind of spam Soft Boiled here, and he actually goes for the T-Wave. I think he expected me to switch there, because there's really no reason to T-Wave a Clefable otherwise. I can't think of a logical reason, because was he already faster than me? Yeah, he moved after me he moved before me every single time, so he might have some speed investment too, which would be consistent with the fact that he has clearly some special attack investment going on. Getting up the Stealth Rock is nice because it somewhat pressures him to either Rapid Spin or Defog later on. Like I said, it doesn't put that much pressure on his team just because he has nothing weak to it, but the extra chip damage for when he switches is kind of nice. So he just goes for the Moonblast again. Thankfully, he doesn't get the special attack drop this time because he got it twice in a row. And he's probably... I feel like he's going to go into his own Aegislash here. I really do feel... Oh, no, he has the Flamethrower. Doesn't get the burn. Thankfully, I was a little bit worried about that. And he actually took that Shadow Ball pretty well. Did he show lefties? Yeah, he did. Maybe he's not. He's not Life Orb, that's for sure. Maybe it just normally does that much? I still feel like that Moonblast did a lot, though. Maybe I just don't know my my OU calcs. Well, not maybe. I don't. I really don't. I don't play enough OU to know those things. So he's got a Azumarill out here, and he goes for the knockoff, actually. So he is Assault Vest, I would assume. Choice Banded variants don't usually carry knockoff. At least not from what I've seen. Not too commonly, at least. Not that they don't carry it. I could go out into Sharpedo here and just Destiny Bond this thing, because it's kind of a problem for the rest of my team. If I go out into my Diggersby, he can just Aqua Jet me. Oh, wait a minute. No, he's Life Orb. He's not Bandit. He's Life Orb. Okay. I missed that little tidbit. Life Orb Azumarill. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I'm going to go back into my own Clefable here. I am physically defensive. I feel like I can take one hit at least and get some prior damage off on this thing. I don't really need this Clefable for anything. Yeah, it sucks that Aegislash went down like that. For some reason, I just wasn't thinking he was going to go for knockoff. And if he did go for knockoff, I kind of felt like I could take it. But apparently not. So he does go for the knockoff again just to get rid of my lefties. I feel like you should have gone for a like a Play Rough there, because that would have been a solid 2 at KO, pretty sure. But I will just go for Moonblast here, and he is going to send out his own Aegislash. Can we get a special attack drop? No, we cannot. He shows that he is lefties. So, I mean, most of them are, so that doesn't really tell me too much about what kind of set it's running. It could be SD, it could be completely special, it could be mixed. I think by far the best set that it has is mixed. But people run the other sets. It really depends on the team. So he's going to actually fire off a substitute, or set up a substitute, I should say. You can't really fire up a sub. But thankfully we hit our Fire Blast, and we're able to break that. So we get some chip damage off on this, and he's going to go for the King Shield this time. I guess just to get more lefties. Yeah, I kind of want to just keep whittling him here. Actually, he's going to go into the Azumarill. Okay, and take unnecessary damage. Via the Stealth Rock and the Fire Blast there. I can go for a Soft Boiled and kind of just stall him out of the Life Orb, which thankfully we don't get fully paralyzed there. I was kind of thinking we were going to, but he just really unnecessarily sacked his Azumarill there. That really was not necessary, especially because Excadrill and Latios were still alive, so you could have potentially gotten 2 hits off, instead of just bringing in the Azumarill on the Stealth Rock and then just having it die to Life Orb. Against something that clearly has recovery too. Like, he's seen me use Soft Boiled a few times. So I don't know if I really understand that play, unless he really thought I was going to switch there and he was going to get some major damage off on something else. But I really don't need this Clefable for anything. It's nice to switch into a Draco, but that's about it. Mandibuzz actually takes on that Latios fairly well because it is specially defensive. Unfortunately, despite living that Iron Head somehow, we get flinched. So, yeah, the power flinch was real right there. Very small chance that we were actually going to be able to do anything. But he does not show Life Orb. So I don't know. Are you Assault Vest maybe? I mean, I outspeed you either way, so I'm just going to go for a Flare Blitz here. You really don't have anything that you want to switch into. Lopunny dies. Aegislash is going to take a lot of damage, if not just die. Excadrill obviously dies if he stays in. Latios is going to take a butt ton of damage, and Clefable's not going to like that either. So, yeah, he has nothing on his team that appreciates a Flare Blitz here. Really no reason to Dragon Dance either, because if he predicts me to be X and goes for EQ, I just lose. So I don't want that. I will just go for the Flare Blitz, and he switches in Clefable, maybe thinking he can take that. Or maybe just sacking the Clefable, because what does he really need it for on my team? Could have been useful to just stall out the Mandibuzz, I guess, if it came down to that. But I am going to switch in Mandy here on the Latios, as he does go for the Draco and misses, which is unfortunate. Not going to lie, that's a bit unfortunate. It would have forced me to go for Roost. But I would still get momentum because he would have to switch out. And he is going to switch out actually to Lopunny here. And Foul Play is just going to take it out, so I don't know if I understand that play so much. What did he think I was going to go for? Maybe he thought I was going to pull a double. I really had no reason to. I have no switch-ins to Latios anyway. Like, Mandibuzz is my switch-in, so the fact that it was already out, I was not trying to bait anything there, that's for sure. But we don't know what my opponent was thinking. So he is going to go out into Excadrill here. This obviously is going to be going for Rock Slide. And I'm very tempted to go right out into Diggersby, and I think I'm actually going to make that play here. And he does go for the Rock Slide. This could be Scarf, too. Could be Scarf Excadrill. That is a bit of a thing. If he is Scarfed, he's going to switch here. Otherwise, he might try to stay in and go for EQ. I don't know. Or Iron Head, maybe. Because, yeah, he could be Assault Vest, but he is going to switch, so I'm thinking he's Scarfed. And we get a U-turn off as he, I guess, predicts the EQ there. But, see, if he is Scarfed, I don't know why he'd be afraid of Diggersby. Because even if Diggersby is Scarfed, Excadrill's faster. So I'm not sure. Maybe it is Assault Vest then. I don't really know is basically what I'm trying to say. So he sacks his Latios by switching in on a U-turn. And yeah, Latios is definitely not taking a banded U-turn from a Diggersby, even if it isn't Stab. So he's going to go out into his Aegislash here, and that's perfect because we have Mandibuzz. And we are free to either Foul Play this or we can taunt it. And I opted to go for the taunt. I figured he might try to King Shield there just to see what I'm going to do. And at this point, he has to attack me. So he either has to switch and take damage on his Excadrill, because, yeah, Flash Cannon does nothing. That does nothing. 30%? Jeez, that's... What is Aegislash's special attack when in Blade form? Isn't it 150 or 140? Something along those lines. That's ridiculous. It's too fat for words. So he does go for the Rock Slide with the Excadrills. He brings that in after he sees how much damage that does, alongside how much Foul Play was doing. He knows that he lost at that point, and we still had Sharpedo in the back as well. So that's going to be a victory for us, and we can move on. This is a Sun team if I've ever seen it. Oh my goodness. It's pretty cool, though. I actually, at the beginning of X and Y, even though I was way less experienced than I am now as far as competitive battling is concerned, I used a team that's very, very similar to this. In fact, I think I had everything except for Donphan. Like, this was almost my exact team. So I'm expecting that Ninetales to be probably Heat Rock. We have the Megazard Y, and then we have the Chlorophyll Venusaur, Chlorophyll Sawsbuck. That could be very dangerous, especially if it has SD. That Venusaur could have growth too, so that can turn into a scary setup sweeper. It could actually be a mixed attacker if he wants it to be. And then the Solar Power Heliolisk, which is surprisingly powerful as well. And then he's got the Rapid Spin support in the Donphan. And Donphan can actually spin on Aegislash, depending on how well I take an EQ, I suppose, and if he can predict me to switch right into the Aegislash. To be honest, looking at this team, though, I really think that sacrificing Aegislash just to make sure that I keep rocks up is going to be worth it, just for the fact that I know already that that's going to be Charizard Y. I want him to have limited switch-ins with that and the Ninetales, because his team is going to be so heavily reliant on the Sun staying up. So that is the basic game plan. I may need to use Sharpedo somewhat strategically to eliminate certain threats. So we'll have to see how this goes down here. He's taking a long time to think about his lead. So that's why I turned the timer on, but that was like 30 seconds ago. But anyway, we're leading off with the Clefable. I'm getting up rocks immediately as he is going to lead off with the Charizard Y and get off that Mega right away. I think I can take a Fire Blast, but not well. Like, it's probably going to do about 90%. Do I want to risk that? I think it is worth it just to go for the Stealth Rock, and he actually has Flamethrower. That does about 72, so yeah, probably would have done about 90 if he had Fire Blast instead. So we get those rocks up. I don't know that I need Clefable for anything. It really doesn't help me in this battle at all because he's got a couple of fire types to resist Moonblast, and I just lose to Sawsbuck anyway, so I probably wouldn't be able to get a Fire Blast off on that. So I'm just going to allow him to take out Clefable. I really didn't have a switch in to Zard Y anyway. I really did not. I could go out into Sharpedo here and try to pull a Destiny Bond. The other thing that I need to keep in mind is that a lot of this match might just be King shielding and protecting just to stall out Sun turns. But I'm actually going to go out into my own Charizard here because he can't do anything but Air Slash me. Even if he has Dragon Pulse and predicts that here, I don't think that is an Oko. It's going to do a lot, but it's not going to kill me. And if I get a Dragon Dance up, I get a kill, basically. He doesn't have anything that wants to switch in on that. With Stealth Rock up, Donphan does not have Sturdy, so I can eliminate that. And yeah, it does about 61%, but he gets the flinch on it, of course. Of course he's going to get the flinch on that. Now I'm in a bad spot. I should have just went out into, or should have gone right out into the Sharpedo and tried to protect Destiny Bond. Oh well. Oh well, he does go for Air Slash again. That does minimal damage as Aegislash switches in pretty nicely on that. And basically, I have to go for King Shield here to at least eliminate his Sun. I don't know if Flamethrower will kill outside of the Sun. I'm not really sure. He may go directly into Ninetales just to get that Sun back up. If we can force him out, that'd be great. I would think he'd just want to stay in and get damage, though. But if he switches out, I mean, actually, now without the Sun, I could probably go into Mandibuzz. I don't think he can 2-hit KO, especially defensive Mandibuzz with the Flamethrower outside of the Sun. Doubtful. And then I can get a Foul Play off on something, and that's probably going to do decent damage to whatever comes in. And yeah, especially because the Sun is down now, he's going to be pressured to go into that Donphan soon, too. He's definitely not going to want to switch that Charizard back in with rocks up if he can help it. But I'm going to make a safer play here. I'm going to go into Mandibuzz predicting the Flamethrower, and that is exactly what he goes for. That still does 35%. Zard Y is a monster. I probably should roost here because there's the chance that he does just stay in, but I'm going to foul play. So, judging by that damage though, unless he gets a super high roll or a crit with lefties, I can take one more after that, so I should be able to roost the following turn. Actually, if he burns me, that could be really bad too. So there's a lot of things that could happen. But he is actually going to switch out right into the Donphan, and that is physically defensive if I've ever seen it. 21%. Yikes. He's probably going to try at least once to go right for the Rapid Spin, and I'm going to make the play of going right into Aegislash. Not going to mess around here. And 2 EQs might be enough to kill me. I don't know. But I definitely outslow this. So I can just go for a Shadow Ball here. Maybe I should go for Flash Cannon. I don't want him to predict Shadow Ball and go into Heliolisk, and he's not going to. He's just going to go straight for the EQ. That does a lot of damage. That does way more than I had anticipated. 57%. That means that even if I do King Shield here, I'm not going to be at enough health to take another one. But at least I know he's not going to go for Rapid Spin while I'm still in here. Part of me wants to just go for Shadow Sneak and let him kill me, and then he'll be at a range where I can kill him. He's actually going to go into the Sawsbuck instead. So we take some Stealth Rock damage there, and by we, I mean his Sawsbuck. I could King Shield to see what he's going to go for here and get a little bit more lefties recovery. And that could actually really help me because we saw how much that EQ did. Yeah, I would definitely want to be at a range where I can switch in again on that. Just because if he gets a little bit more damage, I might be able to kill him with a Shadow Sneak. So I want to keep that as an option. I don't think this can actually do anything to me. If he's going for Mega Horn, what were you predicting to go in there? Maybe Mandibuzz to switch in? Regardless, I am just going for the Flash Cannon. It does 20% to this Ninetales, which is not great. But I feel like that was my best play there. I will King Shield again because I want to waste a turn of the Sun that is now up. And it's likely going to be 8 turns just because I don't see lefties on this thing. Yeah, it's probably going to be Heat Rock. So I'm going to predict him to go for another Flamethrower, and I will switch in Charizard here. He does go for the Flamethrower. That only does 12%, which means even if he does get a critical hit, I can live that and get off a Roost. I would like to be in a range where I can take another Air Slash from that Zard Y if I have to. Hopefully not get flinched to death. And he's, of course, going to show off the Confuse Ray. I was with you, man. I was with you with this team until you show off the Confuse Ray Ninetales. Why? Why do we have Confuse Ray on this? Your team is cool other than that. Like, you just ruined a good thing that you had going. Okay, so I guess I have to switch here because I don't want to play the luck game because I don't win those. So he's actually going to go right into Donphan. With the lefties, I don't think that foul play is enough. What did it do, like 22% last time? 20%? In that range? Not worth risking it. He's probably going to go for EQ, and he does, making a very solid prediction. I mean, it should be pretty obvious that that's my game here. That's what I'm doing. But I think I just have to sack Aegislash at this point. I could go for King Shield again. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go for Flash Cannon. He might predict a King Shield here. I don't think he's going to go for EQ again. I don't think he is. I mean, what is he going to switch into, though? Nope, he is going to go for the EQ. Okay, fair enough. Unfortunately, I do lose my King Shield there. I probably should have went for it just for... why do I always say should have went? Why do I do this? I can't speak English. I should have gone for the King Shield there, probably just to stall out one extra turn of Sun. But it does allow me to go into Zard and kill something. Because he has no switch-ins to a Flare Blitz in the Sun. That's for sure. He has nothing. Like, he just has to let something die. And if he lets this Donphan... Actually, you know what? Sharpedo can go in here. Dark Pulse should be enough to kill this thing. With Life Orb, I'm modest. This thing is clearly physically defensive. Yeah, he's just gonna die to that. Okay, fair enough. Because what I also didn't want to do is to have to take Recoil on Charizard X if I could help it. Just because... yeah, just because I don't want to. If I don't have to, I don't want to. I would like to be able to take an Air Slash. The game might come down to that. So he's going to go right back into his Ninetales, and I'm going to protect immediately as he does show off the Will-O-Wisp. So he's got Flamethrower, Will-O-Wisp, Confuse Ray, and maybe Pain Split for some recovery. But I am just going to go for the Dark Pulse here. That is going to be enough to take out this Ninetales, which is great. And we're at +3 speed at this point, so I should outspeed any of the 2 Chlorophyll Bonds here. So he's actually going to go out into the Sawsbuck, and I'm going to go for Protect again to waste another Sun turn. Hopefully he doesn't predict that and go for a Swords Dance. He's actually just going to go for the Horn Leech, which is fine. That is definitely fine. Now the question is, do I want to just sacrifice Sharpedo here to go for the Destiny Bond? I kind of feel like he's going to go for Horn Leech again. Mandibuzz is a relatively safe switch. He could have the Wild Charge. I don't think he's actually attacked me yet, has he? He's just switched in, right? That's just Stealth Rock damage. I don't think he's shown like Life Orb or anything. He's going to go for the Horn Leech, and we'll be able to see right here for sure. Was that Life Orb? Yes, it was. Okay, so if he has Wild Charge, he can go for it. That's not going to kill me, but it'll do a solid chunk. My better play probably is to go for the Foul Play in case he wants to try to be cheeky and switch something in here. Just kidding, he's going to go for the Jump Kick, and actually Foul Play is enough to kill him from there. Jeez. Unfortunately, now he can go into Zard Y if he wants, and in the Sun, a Flamethrower is going to be able to take me out, and there's really nothing I can do about it. I don't have any switch-ins. He's actually going to go out into Heliolisk, which that works too because it does outspeed me. but he has to go for Hyper Voice because I could very easily just switch in Diggersby here. To be fair, I don't really need Diggersby for anything. Like, it doesn't really do anything for me. Heliolisk outspeeds it, so if it's Life Orb, it can just kill me anyway. And I don't outspeed the Venusaur in the Sun. I can't hit anything super effectively with Earthquake other than this Heliolisk, which would never switch in on it anyway. The Quick Attack could be helpful though, so I might want to save it for that. What does Mandibuzz do for me? It's kind of good for the Venusaur because we resist the Giga Drain. So you know what? I'm going to switch in Diggersby here. And he actually shows off what appears to be HP Ice. That is rather interesting. I was not expecting that for sure. He doesn't show Life Orb though, so that was just solar power damage that he took. So I'm going to say that he is potentially choiced here, and I want to go for Protect, one, to burn a Sun turn, and actually he's actually going to switch. But yeah, that's part of what I wanted to do there, was scout to see if he's going to switch out. That likely means that he is choice there. It was kind of obvious that he was. Most Heliolisks are choiced anyway, but I just wanted to double check. So he does have Venusaur here, and he can very easily go for a Growth. So I'm going to predict him to do that, and I'm going to switch in Charizard, and he does go for that. And now I'm in a great position because the Sun is gone, and he does not outspeed me. So something's going to die here due to a Flare Blitz. I don't know that I want to Dragon Dance just because he could just kill me with a Sludge Bomb. Don't really want that, so I will just get rid of him. Unfortunately, this does put me within a range where Air Slash will kill, and we will get outsped because that Charizard is likely timid, and I am adamant. So I'm going to need to get a Dragon Dance boost up if I want to kill it. With this Charizard, that is. So that Charizard is such a problem. Even with Stealth Rocks up too, what you would think would essentially neuter it, but it's still just such a huge problem. Really, really is. I'm going to go into Mandibuzz here and sack it. And he actually goes for T-Bolt. Maybe? I don't know why he did that. But I think that's going to give me an opening to win here. I think his best play by far was going for Hyper Voice. That killed anything, I would think. Especially if he's Specs. If he's Scarf, I think I lose, though. Because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take advantage of the fact that he's Choice and can't kill me. And I could Roost. But again, we get into that area where is Charizard Y going to flinch me with an Air Slash? So I'm going to Dragon Dance, predicting that he has to switch, and he does. So now this Zard is not a problem. It will die to a Dragon Claw from there. So I guess it's good that I did have the Rocks up. So I will go right for that. I could Roost here, I guess, but I mean, how much did that Air Slash do? It did like 57% or whatever it was, so it's not worth it. If he's Scarf here, he can just kill the rest of my team with a Hyper Voice, because I can only protect once. But it turns out that he is Specs instead, so Charizard is going to finish off the battle, and we will give him a GG, even though he did use a Confuse Ray Pokemon. I'll still give it to him, because it was a good match, and it's still fun to see weather teams. I don't know, I just have a soft spot for weather teams. I guess throwback to 5th gen OU. I don't really know. But anyway, that's going to be it for this time because it's been a little over a half an hour. So we're going to call it quits for today. I will do 2 more parts with this, so we'll get to see, hopefully, Aegislash put in a little bit more work. I feel like it didn't do as much as I wanted it to this time around, but I'm sure it'll do some stuff later on in the session. And so that's pretty much that. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure you're leaving a like, rating, or a comment, or whatever you would like to do, of course, and I will see you all next time. But until then, game on.